There's a pretty high chance that your mouse grip is terrible for you, and in this video I'm going to explain how to fix it and how to find a new grip naturally. I don't believe that this will be like any generic mouse grip video that you've seen, as I've also watched all those and it still took me a while to come up with the content for this video. So the first thing you have to do is get out of your mind categories like claw grip and fingertip grip. There is so much variation in what grip can look like that these categories are just too undescriptive. I regularly get people telling me their grip is something like a relaxed finger claw hybrid and then ask me for advice on how to aim train. Your grip's not some weird hybrid or one of those categories, it's just a physical manifestation of a mental image that you should not be able to put into words. Your unconscious mind stores a ton of information about your grip that you don't understand and that you literally cannot manifest into words because you're not aware of it. The only grip category that I would say has some kind of consistent image associated with it is palm grip. Palm grip is very basic, everything is flat on the mouse, and because of this, it will look the same on just about everyone, so you can kind of generalize palm grip, but fingertip and claw grip can have a ton of variation. When you hear someone say they use a palm grip, you can pick up their mouse and copy their grip, and you will be almost exactly right, minus a couple microscopic details that you're not even aware of. But with finger and claw grip, you can't even come close. So even though there is some variation in palm grips, they're all very similar, so you can still use that category. Fingertip and claw grip can both appear in 100 different versions. My fingertip grip looks kind of like this, but someone else's fingertip grip might look kind of like this. And they are both the same category, but they are completely different. So instead of asking if a grip is finger, claw, or palm, ask 3 basic questions. Is the grip comfortable? Is it stable? And does the grip allow for precise finger motion? And you should be able to answer yes to all 3 for a grip to be good. Comfort is simple and by far the most important factor. You should never feel any nagging or sharp pains with your grips or any soreness from your grip. This is different from a grip feeling almost unnatural, as that's how new grips tend to feel. If your old grip is the only naturally feeling grip, that's to be expected. You have a lot of hours on it, and that is how that grip felt when you were new to it. It's just every other grip felt like that too, so you didn't think anything of it. But again, any form of like muscle pains and muscle sorenesses, you do not want to let those happen because you don't want to get carpal tunnel. Stability is a bit more complex. A lot of people think of stability as the opposite of shaky aim when it isn't. Shaky aim tends to be caused from a lack of skill in something, and it is very trainable. If you have a grip like this, you may not be experienced with it, and this can cause your fingers to shake when you aim. This isn't a sign of the grip being unstable, this is a sign of you needing practice. In reality, for a grip to be stable, you need to feel like you can flick fast without your mouse flying out of your hand. For me, creating the stability came from shifting my ring finger from the top of my mouse to the side of it. My pinky finger alone couldn't handle the force I needed to move my mouse quickly to the left. After making this change, the issue was gone. The third factor in determining whether or not a grip is viable is whether or not you can incorporate your fingers into your aim. This is very underrated in the FPS community, and a lot of pros have just kind of trained through it and learned to aim without finger motion, but this effort is highly unnecessary, and it'll also ultimately make it so that you can't improve as much as you want to. Your fingers are the most precise joint you have access to, and your next source of vertical motion is your shoulder, which is very far away from your mouse, and also just imprecise by the way it's made. I have seen people aim with a grip that doesn't allow them to move their fingers, and they always have issues with vertical aim. The most notable example of this from my coaching was an Immortal 3 Valorant player with a ton of top 100 KovaaK scores. He had a very well-trained shoulder, but the shoulder's not that precise, so he wasn't able to make his fine vertical adjustments at the same level as his horizontal adjustments. This was very noticeable in the high error rate in vertical movements in his VODs, as well as his occasions where he would get his crosshair stuck on someone's shoulder and just not be able to bring it to their head. I decided to not teach him a new grip as he was already at a pretty high skill level in terms of aim. Vertical adjustments weren't his main issue. Learning a grip while trying to put the work into a game needed to go pro probably wasn't worth it. I didn't know as much about teaching people mouse grips as I do now, and most importantly, he was very uncomfortable with the idea of changing grip, and I didn't want to ruin his confidence while he's also trying to go pro. Recently, I've learned of a process called natural learning, which is considered the optimal way to learn motor movements, and mouse grip happens to be a motor movement. It is very similar to how you learn to walk. Simply start by watching this clip. Don't try to pick apart my movements, just observe them. Your goal is to give your unconscious mind an image of what mouse grips could look like, so you don't need to consciously pick apart each part of my mouse grip. Your conscious mind is free to go and click the subscribe button or do anything else. Now put your hand on your mouse. It doesn't have to be exactly what you're used to, it doesn't have to be exactly what was in the video, it just has to be on the mouse. It shouldn't be something where like you're thinking about putting one finger here, one here, and one here. It should just happen. If it doesn't look like the video, or it's pretty similar to the video, both are fine. It literally does not matter how you grip it right now, your hand just has to be on the mouse. Now load into Kovaaks and play one of the playlists I put in the description. Basically what this is a scenario for very small vertical adjustments and a scenario for aiming quickly. The scenario for aiming quickly tests your mouse grip stability, and the scenario for small vertical adjustments will test your mouse grip's ability to create precise finger motions. If you play a tag FPS game like Valorant, I made a playlist that's a bit more flicking intensive, and if you're playing more Apex type games, I made one that's a bit more tracking intensive. These playlists are not meant to train for games, but rather just to help you find a grip. They are very simple and not good for training. Do not train on them unless you are looking for a grip. In each scenario, I just want you to observe your aim. Don't try to change it, just observe it. Flick quickly, but after each flick, pause. Try to feel and focus your attention on your hand. Your brain should make small adjustments to your grip as you play, whether you try to or not. On the smaller target precise scenarios, focus on using your fingers to create vertical motion. On the faster scenarios, focus on aiming quickly and how well your grip supports this quick aim, as well as how quickly you flick. As you continue to play, your grip should change itself. Even if you come from being very comfortable on palm grip, placing an emphasis on finger motion will make that grip unviable, and due to the fact that you can't move your fingers when they're flat on your mouse. Play this until you feel comfortable with the new grip and that it's stable and allows finger motion. Whatever this grip looks like is fine as long as it meets the 3 criteria. This is a great way to learn a new grip as you aren't fighting your unconscious mind that's kind of forcing you back into your old grip, but rather supporting it and allowing it to learn a new grip. So instead of feeling like you are being forced into a new grip and it's really uncomfortable, you should feel very relaxed and more comfortable with the grip than before, though it is possible that it might feel kind of unnatural. If you're new to using your fingers in your aim, then it might take you a month or so to learn to use them, but afterwards you will be a lot better than you used to be, especially in terms of vertical movement. And if you're not new to them, then you should be able to learn your new grip a lot more quickly. If you absolutely cannot find a grip that works for you, you probably need a new mouse. If the mouse is very uncomfortable, try to find a shape that fits your hand better. If the mouse feels as though it will always be unstable or resist finger motion, then it needs to be lighter. If you don't know anything about mice, then you can go to r/mouse review on Reddit and just ask them. There's a lot of people on there that know a lot about mice. Thanks for watching and subscribe for more.